Hello friends, you're with Lonesome Gamer and I'm playing 1849, game of Sicilian Railways. So right now 4 of the 6 companies are operating. We still have the RCS and the AFG that didn't start. The most successful company right now is the CTL. And they are also the only ones who own 2 trains. But there's not too much money left in the treasury. They have 250 and 2 shares. But that's still not too bad. I mean, if they sell their 2 shares, that brings them to overall more than 500. I think they're close to 600 then. So that is not bad at all. Priority is here. We have a stock round now, and this guy will start a new company. It's going to be the RCS. We have to do this in the order given here. And that is a good company anyway because it starts in Palermo. So it can work together with the CTL, which he also owns. So that is a very good constellation for him. He starts it at 144. And let me see if I want to sell the SFA share. I don't think I have to do that right now. There's a good chance it will drop though, because I'm... Well, yeah, I think I'm gonna sell that. It's not performing really well. You can see here it's behind, and I can still buy a share of the IFT, for example, later, or of the 8AA if I want to. So right now I'm gonna sell that thing. That also hurts my competitors, and share value drops, and that means I get 103 bucks. And then I'm gonna buy, Do I want to buy immediately 40%? Well, I think so, yeah. I think I want to do that. Let me see how much money they need. For the stations. Just a second. They're super expensive. They're gonna need 130 for the stations alone. So I'm definitely gonna buy 40%. 144, so that's gonna be 400, 560. 576. Let's see if I have that much money. It's gonna be close actually. That's 400. 500. Shit. I don't quite have that much. Might have to sell one of my own shares too. I think I will. Yeah, that's a shame, but I will do it. The price will at least not drop any further. So that gives me another 146. So 176, let's see. 576, that's 500. Oh, that goes into the company. 75, 76. There we go. Okay. So then We got to spend immediately 130 for the tokens. And that allows us to place a token here in Palermo. Token here on the starting value. Oops. And 2 tokens here as a bond, and we're ready to go. So this guy here, I think he buys shares of his own company, the SFA. He buys back that share here. In this way, the value will not drop, except this guy sells the share, which might be absolutely possible. So I gotta spend 86. Now let's see, we got here 75, 80, 85, 86. This guy here, I mean, he'd love to buy shares of the CTL. They make a lot of money right now, but the problem is this guy is holding 2 companies, and there's a big risk of a company dump. You know, he might even take a bond here and then transfer the 500 bucks and the trains in here, and then he's in a ton of trouble. It might not be the best move because this is actually a good company, but it is definitely possible. And I mean, he might still consider it. Maybe he should do it. He doesn't have a lot to lose at the moment. On the other hand, he really wants to avoid that too many shares of the SFA end up in the bank pool. So therefore, I think he does not buy anymore. Yeah, he will actually buy the share of a SFA. He might. He doesn't have the money, sadly, to buy another share of the CTL. He only has 107, and these shares cost 127. So that's a shame. It really is. But okay. Now this guy here, he's really considering also starting a company. He's got a good amount of money, so yeah, I think he wants to start the AFG. And now it is this interesting, I mean, that's the thing now. He could now consider doing what I mentioned in one of my earlier videos, that he starts it here in Messina, and then when the there we are, when the 12th train comes out, which will happen pretty soon. It's basically, there is a 12th train. Yeah, we got 4 trains here, and then the 12th train comes out. So what he could do is start the company at, I don't know, maybe 68 or so, buy a lot of shares, and then sell the shares in the next operating around. You cannot sell shares as long as a company has not operated yet, but you can buy a lot of shares, I don't know, 5 shares or so, or 6, transfer the money in here, his own company, the other one, and maybe also transfer a train in here and try to arrange a situation where this company is basically totally empty when the Messina earthquake happens. Because then, if he starts in Messina and there is no other token anywhere on the map, the company will close automatically. He would lose the value of 2 shares then, the presidency, but you know, if he starts it not too high, it might be worth it. He's got a ton of money then in this company. It's an interesting idea, but I don't know. I think it is hard to arrange because we have 4, I mean, it's hard to tell. Yeah, there are still 5 trains that have to be purchased, right? And I don't know if that's going to happen too soon. So here's a problem. If I start the AFG, I need some solid money in the treasury. This train well, maybe it can make another run. Still, I'm pretty sure if the other companies then start. The thing is, first this company here, this one, might actually buy that train. Although that is not totally sure. So the basic problem is, if I invest now, let's say 500 bucks in my new company here, I don't have the money to defend myself against attacks for the presidency of the ATA. Because this guy here, for example, he has 200 bucks in hand, a little more. He could sell these 2 shares and maybe even one of these. And then he's got enough money to buy 40% of the ATA, and I don't have the presidency anymore, which would definitely suck because this is a really good company. It has a great route here in the east. On the other hand, if I invested all my money in here, I cannot sell these shares again because the company would not have operated. So that means I cannot, for example, start a counterattack against this company here. So that is clearly an issue. I mean, other people might, maybe him or so, but it's there is definitely a big risk if I start this company here, and it doesn't change things if I started for a lower value. I could do that, of course, for 100 or so, but still the company needs money to operate. So I got to spend a good amount of money to bring money into the company's treasury, and yeah, that is simply money that I will not be available to defend myself against the ATA. So I'm seriously considering maybe not purchasing, maybe not starting that company. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like other people have the money to start a company, so maybe there will be a chance later that I might do it, but I mean, it's kind of unlikely. It depends always on priority. I actually decided not to start a new company. Instead, I'm going to buy a share of the CTL here. It makes good money. For 127. There we go. 50, 60, yeah. This guy here, well, he also does not have the money. I mean, he could sell these 2 shares, but then he's in kind of a similar position. Someone then might steal the IFT if he sells the shares now and then starts a new company. That's probably not the best idea. So yeah, I guess he simply invests in the ATA. Or does he want to invest in the CTL? Well, I think I'm sitting in a good position here compared to this guy. So most of the time I will be ahead in priority order. So I actually think I'm going to buy that last 20% share. If this guy ends up with priority, I still have the option to sell that share. But, well, actually he might. He only holds another $100. On the other hand, I think these guys will invest. There's a lot of money in here still, so there's a good chance he will be the last to invest, which means I will end up with priority. So yeah, I think I can do that. 127, that means we got to spend 254. Hope I got that much money. Well, not quite. That's a shame. So I guess I'm going to sell that one for 86. And then we're going to need $254. And that money goes into the company, of course. And it would be kind of foolish to dump that company, at least in this position. There's a lot of money in here, so he can be fine. Of course, he could transfer the money or something, but as I said, as long as I'm ahead in priority, I don't have to be afraid of that. This guy passes, and he doesn't have a lot of money, so basically the only share he can afford is his own share. He buys that back. Now he's sitting on 60%. And yeah, this guy here. Well, he might invest in... So now he's not quite sure. This guy still has the option to buy one more share. The others are all out of money. He already purchased one share of the IFT, which is a good company right now. And but he's not totally sure if you want to buy a second share, because this guy will hold priority. Usually if someone has only a single company, it's probably not a big deal. You know, there is not a big risk that this guy will start shuffling trains or something and scrapping the company or so. It is, of course, possible, and I've seen it happen once in this game, that basically you start selling trains with another player's company and making weird deals like, okay, you know, I sell you I buy this bad train for all the money I have, and then I sell you this train back for just a little money, and then later in the game when I started another company, you sell me back your train and stuff like that. I've seen that happen, and I was the idiot during the game. I lost badly, but the thing is I was really in the lead there. So these two guys worked together to really fuck me up. But here, I think it's kind of unlikely. This is a good company, and you don't want to ruin that company, especially if I'm not in the lead. You know, this guy, he seems to be pretty much ahead right now. So maybe he should be careful doing investing in other players' companies more than 10%. But I think I can afford it. I'm probably losing anyway. So if someone is really asshole enough to do that, that's fine with me. So I got to spend another 177. Let's go in here, and I grab myself another share. I think the shares of the RCS are pretty good and are very promising. So it could have been an idea to invest in these two. But on the other hand, right now in the next round, they will not pay out. So it's probably, I kind of prefer these. I can still, I will still get a chance to invest in the RCS. Okay, this guy holds priority. We're at the end of the operating round now, of the stock round, and we go into the first operating round, and we still have only 2 operating rounds. So I got to make the decision, do I want to buy that stupid 8 train or not? It's definitely not a great train. It will rust when the first 16 comes out. I mean, I'm not sure how long that will take. We have here 4 more trains, so I mean it might run a bit, you know, it's not that bad maybe. But if I don't buy it and wait, there's a good chance the 6th train will rust. And then, yeah, I will lose a run. In addition, there is a good amount of money in here. I have 5 shares in my company. The share value is at the moment at 177. I paid out, so it actually goes up to 196. That's a lot of money if you think about that. So that means basically there are about $1,000 in here, plus another, I don't know, 700 or so here, and we also generate about $100 income each turn, with the 2nd train maybe even more now. So I think there is no real reason to hold back. So yeah, I'm gonna invest these $350. I think I can definitely afford that. So there we are. By the way, there is something I forgot to mention. When I issued that bond here with the SFA to get my $500, the share value drops 1 space to the left. I did that at the end of the last operating round, but I did it off camera. If I repay the bond, the share value will then go 1 space to the right again. So it's not necessarily a loss at the end of the game. The ATA will operate. They have basically the same run as the IFT. They share the same the same track. They don't have money, so basically they cannot lay any of this. They cannot go here, cannot go here. There's not a lot they can do here, so I guess they simply make their run, which is also 17. So the owner gets 54. By the way, I forgot to forgot to pay this guy the 34 bucks for his 2 shares. And the company holds 70%, so they will get 119, which is a lot of money. It's obviously not enough to buy a train, but wait a second. But now they might also issue their bond, and I think that is more valuable than selling shares. I think, I think holding the shares is a good thing. It's an income of 100 per share right now, of 100 per operating round right now, which is awesome. And the share value is very high, so there's a lot of money still here in the company. So I'm going to issue the bond, which sadly drives the share value 1 to the left. Well, first I paid out, so it goes here, and then actually the share value goes back in here. So there we are. And we get 500 from the bank. So RCS, I guess they're gonna lay track. Yeah, let's take this one here, and we're gonna move down here, trying to make a connection to here. Well, obviously I cannot run, so the share value drops. And now I think I'm not allowed to, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I can issue the bond in the first operating round. I think I cannot issue shares in the first operating round. Let me see. So I can actually issue a bond in the first operating round. I cannot trade my shares. So first of all, I'm gonna buy that stupid 8 train. I mean, I could have also have purchased a train from these guys, but if I buy the 8 train now, they will have the option to buy a 10 train, which is a good thing, I guess. So that's 350. But I want a second train. So I'm also going to issue a bond. Get 500 bucks. Sadly, my share value drops another space, which kind of sucks. But yeah, now I have a chance to get a second train, which is very good, because then I can hit Palermo twice, and that's definitely worth it. The Garibaldi wasn't actually started, so that one is removed. The Lilibeo. What is the train limit? It's 3. Okay, so I am allowed to buy the 10 train. So I got a 6 and an 8 train. Let's see how much that is. But first I could lay track, actually. Gotta calculate if I can afford the 80 bucks for that. Let me see. So on the long run, I want to make my way here to the east. I'm pretty sure I will not be able to slip through here because I don't have any token anymore. So I guess I'm going to upgrade that. And I mean, it's not great. Do I really want to spend the $160 to cut through there? I mean, the other option would be maybe with a narrow gauge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should switch to narrow gauge here. And then hope to switch back to the other gauge here. And just go basically through these Madonian mountains. I think that might be maybe a better idea. Let me see if I find an interesting tile for that. Maybe this one here. It's going to be the other one. This one? Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could... The funny thing is, if I do it like this, I can also fuck up these guys that want to go this way. That's kind of a sweet solution. If I find a narrow gauge which goes like this, then they are in trouble because then they cannot make this connection. You know, I think I want to try that. There you go, that's the one I want. You can see why there are tons of tokens in this game, because there are all these possible narrow gauge and standard gauge combinations out there. So yeah, what I want is, exactly, I want this one here, so I can make this narrow gauge connection and make my way through here. And now these guys cannot make it like this. That's pretty funny. Here's the thing, and that's a shame. I'm gonna have to swallow 270. That obviously sucks, but I really want that 10 train, and I'm just a little short. I don't have it. So that's the problem if you don't have any shares in here, you don't have any income, and yeah. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna buy that 10 train now. That will rust the 6 train. Yep. By the way, my share value drops. And that costs me 550. But now I got a permanent train, still some money in my treasury to make some tile placements and all. So I'm in a pretty good position now. Issuing the bond, I don't know if that's such a great idea in my position here. I don't think so. So that means now we are in the next phase. We have 3 operating rounds. After the next stock rounds, the brown tiles become available. Train limit is 2. And we can now start at 216 if we want to. So there is one last company out there, and maybe someone has enough money, he might want to do that, but I have my doubts. You need a lot of money to do that. Okay, last during this cycle, during this operating round, the SFA operates, and wow, all these guys have no train. This one goes also away. But they do have the money because they issued the bond last turn. Sadly, the value will drop, but we can lay a tile if we want to. And we do have the money to do so. Shit. But, well, I could lay the tile here, and then maybe someone else makes a connection like this. But I'm pretty much alone here, that's my problem. But it seems like I kind of have to do it. So, yeah, I probably have to do that. I need 550. I cannot even lay that tile, I'm $1 short. Shit. Well, okay, so what am I gonna do instead? I could upgrade this one. Do I have the money for that? No, it's also $80. Shit. Here's the thing, I nearly forgot about that. I have to pay interest. Let me see when exactly that happens. Operating round here. Yeah, I got to pay interest for the bond. So I need to keep $50. That means I basically cannot afford to lay a tile. So we're gonna buy that train for $550 right here. We got our permanent train, but we got to get rid sometime of this bond because it reduces our share value a lot by 100. Remember that. But there's still 4 shares in here, so that's at least something. Then we're gonna pay 50 for the interest. And okay, I think we're making enough money to still get a little income and still be able to pay the 50. But yeah, we're not in the best position here. It's not a great company, but at least they're safe now. So we're at the end of the operating round and we go to the next operating round. The first brown tile now on the map, and it's Catania, $90. The IFT is operating, they only have 1 train. Right now they don't have the money, the 2 10 trains are gone. So here's the thing, there is now 1 12 train. And then we have the 16 trains that will actually kill the 8 trains. So the train rush becomes really brutal once the permanents are out. It's really, really quick. So and the next trains will be 1100 and they kill the 8 trains. So it would be great to get that 12th train, obviously, but I don't think I have it. And yeah, he also didn't really consider that. I think some people made mistakes. I got a feeling like, I don't know, somehow I didn't really realize that there were only 2 of these 10 trains. But okay. I thought it was a little more like 1830, where you basically have 3 5 trains, and these are your first brown trains, and then 2 6 trains, and then comes the big train. But this is not the case here. It's only 2 10 and 1 12. Okay, anyway, we can run now. We have an 8 train. So let's see. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. We can make it to Messina. Okay. So it's 30, 40, 50, 140, 150, 230. That's not bad at all. So the question is now, if I swallow, can I afford that train? The answer is no. So I'm going to pay out. And maybe then, I'm not sure. So first I'm going to pay out, that's for sure. So that means I get 72. Um, 115 go into the company. I mean, for that alone, it's usually not a good idea to swallow if you earn that much money while you pay out. Oh, it would be a good idea if I could buy then the train immediately, but not, you know, not swallowing to save for a train. That is usually never a good idea. And these guys, he gets 46. So I think he'll be quite happy with his investment here. Share value rises to 218. Now is the question what we're going to do. I need another train. So I could issue a bond, or I could issue the shares. The problem is if I start issuing shares, this will drop my market value and it sucks. So I think I'm gonna issue the bond. 500. Yeah, I think that's a reasonable choice. Even if my 8 train should rust for some reason because someone buys the 16, then I still have enough money. Well, not quite, but nearly. I just have to pay $100 out of pocket. So I'm in a good shape here, I guess. The ATA, they don't have a train. They're also short in money, so definitely a problem here. What happens is share value will drop because they cannot run. Yeah, that kind of sucks. And then they have to buy a train for, yeah. He should have purchased maybe shares of these guys. Then there would be enough money in there now. But he was hesitating to purchase shares of his own company. Now he kind of regrets that. But okay, we need $800. So we got to pay out of our own pocket now. We got 600 in here. $700. 25. 50. 75. I think we might be just able, yeah, we're just able to do it without selling shares. Yeah, okay, that's 800. So we get the 12 train. In a way, we were lucky that we got the cheap train here. So yeah, that wasn't too painful after all. But we cannot buy the interest. We cannot pay the interest. $50 interest. We cannot pay that interest. So that means we're gonna have to sell a share now. And Which one is it going to be? I think I'm going to sell this share here because they already operated and also paid out already. These guys didn't pay out yet. So I'm going to sell that share, which gives me a good amount of money, 218. There you go. And now I can pay the interest for the bond. Okay, next it's the RCS. They have an A train and their goal is also to get somehow another train. They are not in such a great shape. So now Palermo is upgraded to 130. And by the way, you can see here and also here, you can see now the dual gauge. So they simply count as both gauges, and you can choose which one you want to use basically. So yeah, the RCS is operating. They have an 8 train. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's probably the best we get. So that's 60, 70, 80, 210. That's not too impressive, but it's okay. Now, well, obviously I have to pay out. It really sucks, you know. I don't have the money to buy a new train. I'm also not too interested though, because that would kill my 8 train that I just purchased. Therefore, I think I'm fine. So I'm just going to pay out the 210. I hold 40%, so that's 84. In here we have 60%, so that's 126. And that's it. The share value rises. And the CTL, they're in a solid position. Got to spend 50 bucks for the interest. The CTL have a 10 and an A train, pretty good. And they have a good amount of money. So yeah, they're gonna try to cut through the mountains there for 40 bucks. Narrow gauge. There we go. And that is a Red Mountain, the most expensive guys, 160 is the standard gauge price. And then let's see, we have a 10 train. So, well, I guess we can kind of make it like this here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, no, yeah, 8, 9, 10, exactly. Okay. So 60, 70, 80, 90, 220. I realized I made a mistake with the RCS. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not true, because when you enter here, you cannot change gauge in the middle of the track. So I have to use the narrow gauge here with the dual gauge. So that would cost me then 9 to get here from the harbor. So I cannot take that harbor, so I'm gonna lose $10. So 1 per share, which means I'm basically gonna lose $4 here and 6 over here. And these guys, they actually make the 220. Okay, and that means, oh, wait a second, that is only with one train, right? Gosh, I gotta, yeah, that's only the 10 train actually. They can still use the other train, that's pretty awesome. And the other train goes, and probably from here to here. So that's another 150, which is really great. Holy moly. So that is then 370. Now, it's an interesting question. You know, I'm really considering swallowing that. If I do that, this 8 train will not run much longer. Probably the last time. We're going to see now maybe a new company starting. I mean, it's not sure, but that 16 train will kill the 8 train. And there's a lot of money, for example, in here. There will be more, I guess. So, I think the 8 train will go away, and I'm seriously considering swallowing that. I mean, I'm pretty short in money then for the next operating round, but nobody really has a lot anyway. So, and then I'm sitting on about $500, and I still have my bond which I could issue, which would bring me to 1,000. You know, I mean, So here's the thing, I think I'm not going to swallow. The reason is I have to swallow twice. And issue the bond. Now, then I could afford the big train, the 16 train. I would do it. But the problem is I'm going to have to swallow a 3rd time to pay back the bond. And that's where things get ugly. You know, I don't really want to do that. Swallowing twice is okay. I think, usually I don't want to do that. Usually I don't swallow twice in a row to get a train. I think that is, most of the time, it's not good. But in this specific game, where it's more about running a good company, and I also think that there are quite a few turns left to run, I think it would have been worth it to buy that, the first 16 train. I think that would have been okay. But yeah, as I said, swallowing a 3rd time is not good. That is just not good. So I'm going to pay out and simply go for a better share value. It is a shame I probably will end up with that 10 train and never get the option to get a 2nd train, but there are still these small trains here, the R6H. And that is a good train. If I can get that for 350 or something, I could get that maybe for a single swallow. I'm pretty sure about that. Then I could run that here on the narrow gauge and get a 2nd time Palermo. And with the 10 train, I can try to make my run to Catania. And then I'm in a really good shape. But the problem is there are only 2 of these trains available. They will be unlocked as soon as the first 16 train gets purchased. And everybody's going to try to get these guys because they count as a permanent train, and they only cost you 350. And yeah, they can be very, very valuable. And they can also save your ass. If you simply need a permanent train in your company, you can get a train for 350 that way. I forgot something of importance. There's a share in here, so that means the share value should have dropped by the end of the turn. And okay, that's okay then. I thought about buying back that share, but now it's a little late for that. But yeah, I forgot that. So anyway, share value dropped. Fine. Should have dropped by the end of the stock round. Wait a minute, that is not true actually, because it was the emergency financing here. Okay, yeah. He had to sell that share to buy the train. So now it's all fine. Although, yeah, still, I think the share value drops if you buy. Yeah, okay, cool. So this guy paid out, and well, he held 30%. He made a good amount of money thanks to this. Now it's these guys operating. They have their permanent train, so but they are definitely not in a great shape. But okay, I mean, sadly they don't have the money to lay track here, but they will get at least some income. So they have a 10 train now. Maybe they can make their way around like this. I think I want to... Nah. Is that possible? No, I think it isn't. No. Well, maybe if I come up with something like this then later, but that's... yeah, that... If I find that one, but I have to do 2 upgrades to get there, but hey, why not? Let's start. We gotta find this. Oh my god. In the next operating round I can upgrade this here to a dual gauge, and then I might be able to run around that city, maybe make my way to Syracuse. I gotta be very lucky if I can slip in here. There will be a dot if someone upgrades this. There will be a free space, but I don't know. Maybe someone else will go in there. We'll find out. So then I can make my run. Got a 20, 30, 60, 70, 100. 110, 130. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's the best, I guess. It's 130. I realize now the 10 trains came out, the 12 trains came out, so that means the high value of the gray values is now applies now. The companies are closed, the minor companies, and now we have the earthquake at Messina with the 12th train. That had no influence in this case on the game because there was nothing. It would have been downgraded now to yellow, but nobody invested there. So, but now it's kind of interesting. Now investing there makes a lot of sense. And all the private companies go away, which is a shame. This guy could have laid track here cheaply for half the cost, but Too late for that. Okay, let me see. They operated, these guys operated. Actually, they should have made more money. Pretty sure about that. Because they hit these two cities. Yeah, they hit these two cities. And they count now $40. And that also applies for these guys. They purchased the 12th train. From that time on, the high value counted, so they will get more and they will also get a little more. So the SFA paid out. They received $52 for their 4 shares, but they had to pay an interest of 50. So they have basically $2 income for these shares. The problem is nobody's probably gonna buy these crappy shares, and so I don't know how they ever want to pay back the bond. This guy is pretty much done with the game, let's be honest. I mean, yeah, for him it's more or less over. Okay, so we're done with this operating round, and I'm going to load this up now. It's interesting that still not all the companies have been actually started. I played the game now, I think, twice, and well, until now that didn't happen. There is still the Garibaldi out there, but the problem is you need to get money, a lot of money into the treasury. We're talking about $1,100. So basically, if you wanna start the Garibaldi now, you have to do it for 216. Otherwise, it seems to be impossible to get that amount of money into the treasury. At least if you want to do it alone, and at least for now, nobody comes even. I mean, yeah, nobody comes even close to that. So, yeah, I don't know. It seems like the Garibaldi, if it starts, it will probably start just for a very short time. It will probably just operate for a very short time. It's definitely interesting to start it in Messina. There's a lot of money out here. On the other hand, they're kind of cut off. They cannot go through here, which sucks. So, yeah, it's hard. There's not that much room for them where they could start. They could go here, but that is also not such a great idea. Maybe if there's an option to make a connection to here, maybe then they might think about it, but it just doesn't seem so interesting to actually start a company at that point. So maybe we will never see it. It would be strange, you know, you have a game where there are only 6 companies, but not even those get all started. Yeah, but we're going to find out about that. So I hope to see you on the next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.